We're here at the Academy of Production and Recording Arts in the Beach Audio Studio. So this is great, behind the scenes action, Paul. And the likes of Brad Pitt have been in this room recording various things, working on, feature films that shoot right here in Alberta. So tell me, what is Foley and what is sound design? Okay, so for people that don't know, Foley is kind of when you replace all the kind of human sounds. A lot of times on location, people will they don't tend to record the actual sounds that the people is making. They're more concerned about the dialogue. Right. And then what will happen is once we get the movie, we pretty much reenact everything that they've done on film. Okay. So when they pick up a glass or knock on a door or close a door, those kind of things, and clothing noise, those are all kind of things that is part of the Foley aspect. It's all that sounds that human would make. Okay. Sound design in the other side is something you create to make something bigger than life. One of the things that, or even recreating something that doesn't exist. So for instance, in Star Wars, when they made the movie, they had to figure out what does a lightsaber sound like. So they went about doing all kind of crazy things, utilizing some microphones they attach straight to some electrical wiring, and then they run it through a speaker, and they use the Doppler effect to create those kind of things. And also some things like punches in the face, because you can't really, punch someone in the face on location. No, it's acting after all. Okay, so we're going to create some of these sounds here. We're going to go in the sound booth. I'll let you go ahead and come on with us here. And we're going to use a couple of materials here, and then we're going to show how to layer the sound design to create that sound. So what's this one used for? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with Foley, and we're going to use the wooden block to actually create knocking on the door. Because in the scene that we've selected, he walks up, knocks on the door, and then someone opens the door. And right after that, he punches him in the face. Okay. But he punches him right on the nose. So we need to kind of create that breaking of the nose kind of sound, and therefore we have the celery, because we could technically break a piece of wood or break someone's nose. It doesn't quite sound the same, but celery really has a nice crunch in it. A nice crunch, nice face punching sound. So I get to knock on this. Yeah, so Are we recording? Derry, you can run. Okay. And uh-oh, celery down. Uh-oh. Got it. Celery up. There we go. Okay, so we captured the break. Did I break that hard enough? Should be good, yeah. We should be good. Okay, so we're going to see if the sound effects that we just created match the scene that they should go on, you guys. We're going to layer this all together and show it to you in the next segment. So this is really cool, because I think what a lot of people don't realize are every sound that you hear in a movie is actually done after the movie is filmed. Is that right? That's right. One of the big reasons is because of the noise factor that you have outside, and the other reason is this is a controlled environment, so you have time to put different layers together to get an actual sound. Okay. For instance, like with the punch that we're going to play, one of the myths are that you can just punch a cow carcass and it will give you the same kind of sound, which is not really true, because when we go through this, you'll see that we utilize phone books, we use a piece of paper, the celery stick for the bone breaks, a slap to give you that nice little crack on top, all those kind of different layers. Okay, so how many layers do we have going on here? What's that, 7, 8? Okay, 8 different layers. We're going to go through all of these and put them together. So let's see, what do we have first? That's a phone book with a low rumble. That's a phone book. And then another phone book that was dropped on a wooden floor. Okay, and then we have, what's that? A wall, I just punched a wall. Okay, and then we have a clap. Okay, and then we have the celery, and we have 2 celery breaks. Right. That's one, and that one. Oh, that's crisp. And then we also have a whip just to add the kind of the arm swing to it. Yes. Like that. Then we have just a piece of wood being hit for a little hardness in it. Okay. And then finally we have a brown paper bag just to add some more crack to it. This is incredible. So a split second in a movie, there's a lot that goes into making that sound realistic. So let's bring it all together here, and what does it sound like? Like that. There it is. A punch in the face, just like that. That's pretty fascinating. So you must watch films totally differently, knowing that all of these layers are taking place behind the scenes. You have to, because how did that guy create it? How did he get around it, and kind of what stemmed that creativity to do that thing? And you do miss, if they miss something, you do notice it, which is unfortunate part of it. Absolutely. And this is something that you teach in the program here? Yes, Foley sound design, and then including the mixing side of it, how to assemble it, all put together. That's all part of our program for the advanced post-production class. How cool is that? Yeah. And now when you guys watch a movie, about 4,000 sounds, more than 4,000 sounds will be in that movie. We happen to dig out the perfect sound effect for our Andrew Schultz. Our very own Andrew Schultz, here it is, let's play it. I think it's perfect, not for the forecast, but for the one-liners. And ADR stands for, Paul?
Automated dialogue replacement.
Okay.
Which is pretty much replacing the dialogue that happened when scene, because sometimes you have wind issues, noise issues that happens on location.
Right.
And in this way, it allows an actor to re-perform his performance, and he can either make it better or the same, but it's just to do it in a controlled environment.
Okay, controlled environment and clean environment, and also for animation, as used for animation.
Yes, animation as well.
Okay, so I'm going to put my earphones on here, and I'll be voicing a puppet today.
Yes.
I'll be voicing a male puppet, so we're going to be doing some manipulations here. This is my line, so what do I do here?
So you're just going to set up. We have a screen here that's going to play it back. We also have a two-tone running, which is the count-in.
Okay.
And what's going to happen is Darius going to record, and we're just going to wait for your two-tone to kick in, and once it's your line, you just say your line.
Okay, I'm ready. 3, 2, 1. Sorry, Gordo, I think she's too drunk to say yes. So that's the puppet that I just recorded. We're going to do some editing here, and we're going to move to the next room.
Yes.
So let's move on over, and Derry's going to help manipulate this so that my voice matches the puppet's voice. So how many different kinds of things can you do to manipulate and edit to make this match?
Well, you can do basic editing. Actually, it starts with the actor making sure that it actually lines up first.
Right.
So acting is first thing, and then we can edit and move it in. And then we also have different plugins and tools that we can utilize to make sure that it time stretches it to fit exactly to what's been said.
Okay.
And in the case of a female doing a male voice, we can also use pitch shift to drop it down.
So many things. This is where the magic happens. Okay, so let's see how it sounds just with my voice matching the character. Sorry, Gordo. I think she's too drunk to say yes. Excellent acting. Excellent voice acting. Okay, so now we're going to do a few tweaks here so that it actually matches.
Okay.
All that sauerkraut.
Sorry, Gordo. I think she's too drunk to say yes.
So that's my voice.
That's your voice, just been pitch shifted down, so it looks more like a man saying it.
That's pretty interesting. So you can do tons of things here. And we should mention that this was something that you guys actually worked on here. This is a PSA.
Yes, there was a PSA for the YWCA contest that they ran in Banff, and the company i4Life Studios did the little PSA, and the students from APRA actually did all the sound on this, and we won the competition, which was kind of nice with them.
Wow. How about that? An award-winning voiceover here, and we've been learning all about the things that take place. We're going to move on over to a different studio, learn about some of the classes, and we're going to get into some music. And this is where the students get to practice their skills. So we have Kelsey Kulik, who's a recording artist, and some students setting up a microphone setup here for us. So tell us a little bit about what the students would learn, Paul.
All right, so some of the things that we like to teach our students is, first of all, like mic setup. As you can see here, there's multiple places where they place the microphones, closed mic, distant mic, stereo miking techniques, all these kind of stuff we teach our students. Part of it is just kind of how to blend them together and get a unique sound that you try to get. We also teach straight out of our studios here at the beach. It's really nice because we start with the theoretical parts of everything, and then we go into the practical parts. So people that learn more with a practical method gets to apply their skills as well that way.
Yeah, absolutely, because the theory is only part of it. Then when you're on the job, you have to be actually doing it. And Kelsey is an actual recording artist. Her album is coming out on iTunes in November, and she was at the Flood Relief concert. So this is cool because they get to work with pros.
Yes, and we also like to utilize our students in that way, that whenever we get either a film in or a miniseries in or an episodic or a recording artist, we get our students to help us out because we actually taught them what to do.
Right.
So for us, like, we start with our basic Sounders 101 classes, which is the introduction to it, and then our advanced course is really where it gets interesting because then they just do studio work.
Right.
And we've, like the TV series Bluff, we got our students to work on that. They got the screen credit for that. For Kelsey, we had a couple of students helping out with that. When we did that album, so we got to have an album credit to their name as well.
Cool.
So we try to give them as much as we possibly can.
Absolutely. It's really broad that they would be able to work in TV or in film or in music. You learn all of these things. So how complex is a setup here? If Kelsey were to be recording a demo for us this morning, what are the steps?
Well, the first step is actually to take a listen to the instrument and see where it sounds the best. A lot of times what you can do is you set up multiple microphones at different areas and you actually take a listen to every single microphone and decide which one sounds the best to you. Or you can just, what some people do is they walk around and just listen to where it sounds the best for them and they will replace a microphone.
Right.
Because a microphone really is just your ear. We have one microphone that's over a shoulder. Actually, we have two, because the idea behind it is, for instance, if you're listening to a guitar or you play guitar, that's where it sounds great.
Right.
So we're just utilizing some parts where we will have the ear and use that. And then, of course, certain microphones have certain frequency responses, not to get too technical, but some microphones respond better to certain instruments.
Right. Interesting. All of these things that you can learn here at the Academy of Production and Recording Arts. Kelsey Kulik is going to play a little bit of her track, Sunshine Girl. Let's take a listen, and then we're going to put this demo all together. Tara? we're pulling together what you would hear on a studio album. And I think what a lot of people don't know is that all of the instruments, as you would see live, don't actually get recorded all together. Is that right? You separate everything out.
Yeah, we separate everything. It's kind of part of just to control and get the best possible sound because we have the opportunity to do that. Live is a lot faster. You don't really have time. You're just trying to get a lot of signal.
Right.
Studio is a completely different approach to that.
Okay, so you're bringing all these things together. We can actually see the different tracks here on Kelsey Kulik's album that she recorded here, coming out in November on iTunes. So Derek's taking us through some of the tracks here. So describe to us what we're seeing.
All right, so you can see the different track layouts right now on the screen. Derek soloed a couple of tracks. This is the full production that we've done, but he's going to kind of show us kind of what it was from concept to full production.
Okay.
So the first part he's going to play for us is just vocal and a guitar,
okay,
which is kind of where the song started and originated from.
Right. Okay, let's hear it. So this is what Kelsey would have played in her living room here while writing the song, and we've got vocals and guitar. And then adding on from there.
Yeah, so now we can go in another step, and let's say, for instance, you got a band together. So we got the band together, and now we're going to play kind of what you would kind of find with the band playing. You got drums, you got bass, and you got vocals and guitar, and those couple of things together will give you a nice little solid sound, and you got a nice driving power behind it now. Mm-hmm. So that kind of sounds like this.
Now we're building the track up, so it sounds more like what someone would buy.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, you can stop and say, you know, it's good enough, but because we like to do things a lot better and get it to international standard, we like to add something called sweetening, which is all the little production techniques that we try to teach our students as well. And in this case, they added violins and banjos and other guitars and more layers of vocals, all these things to build it up and make it sound spectacular, because you don't have the same live energy. You don't have the same energy as when you're performing live in the studio. So you need to try and create that. Yeah. And that's kind of what they've done with this album right here.
Let's hear the sweet track here with the violins and the banjo. So then, is this what would go to market?
Yes, this is what eventually will go to market. There's still another process after this, after the mixing process, which is mastering. But in our case, we have sent this out to a different mastering studio to do that for us.
Okay, wonderful. Sounds great, doesn't it? Congratulations, Kelsey, on your album here, recorded here. And it's been a blast spending the morning with the Academy of Production and recording ours.